At this time, I'd like to call the June 1st, 2023 regular meeting of the County Council City Clash to order. It's 5:03 p.m. Please rise and please pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Currently, we please conduct roll call.
Mayor Rosenberg.
Here.
Councilor Bond. Here. Councilor Kelly.
Here.
Councilor Gibb. Here. Councilor Talon. Here. Councilor Bob. Here. Councilor Moore.
Here. All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the May 18th, 2023 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the meeting of Councilor Gibb, second by Councilor Bob. Any changes, alterations, deletions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with council on any topic. When called upon, please come to the podium to be acknowledged, and then we ask you that you please state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address council. Yeah, jump on up there.
Okay.
Come on up. Yep. Welcome. Yeah.
My name is Christina Holland. I live at 37 Carter Road. I'm also a constituent of Ward 1, and I actually spoke with my counselor yesterday, and she suggested I come this evening to share my thoughts about the subject I shared with her yesterday. So it's to express kind of my shock and dismay at this situation and see if there is a solution to be found. It has to do with the transformation of the oval green space into, the moment since mid-May, an extension of a construction site, which is on Fort Brown, and a staging area and kind of an extension of that construction site. Work that seems to be being carried out by a private contractor. The large part of the oval green space, which is the Hanford Rink, which is the only tree area there that really has a large grouping of trees. Has been turned into effectively a staging area. It is a parking area for the construction workers' personal vehicles. The heavy machinery being used for the construction project that's been there now. As I said, they started moving about mid-May. This was also happening last fall. There was a smaller construction project, from what I understood, going on Fort Brown, and the same thing happened, but it was to a lesser extent. There's now a flatbed trailer, like an 18-wheeler. There's heavy machinery in the back roads. There are huge piles of sand and dirt and concrete. All of this is obviously unsightly, but it's also damaging. There's been permanent alteration to that area now from driving those heavy machinery vehicles in and out. The grass is completely degraded where it is. There's vehicles that are constantly. I was walking around there yesterday, taking pictures as I have for the past couple of weeks. There's a strong smell of gas and oil from either those vehicles, and also liquids that are being stored there, which are just completely out in the open, accessible to anybody moving around, as are those huge piles of material. As I said, this has been going on. There is also large sheets of metal, rusted metal that's open. There's no indication, obviously visually you can see it, but there's no safety cordoned off, and it's next to the playground that is there. It is next to the historical gazebo that is there. As I said, it's the only area where there is a lot of trees around. There is a ton of wildlife there, which also, as you know, this time of year, wildlife is trying to reproduce. I'm sure there are squirrels, birds who have nested in those trees, who have now been completely disrupted. I know there are groundhogs around there. As I said, it's a beautiful area. It's historical. It has great historical importance to the city. It is a recreation area, children's sports teams play there. And it is enjoyed obviously by other citizens, by people coming from the outside. And I'm unsure as to why it has become, as I said, a permanent parking for machinery, for their equipment they're using on a construction project down the street, which obviously if they were doing this project anywhere else, they would have to deal with the infrastructure present. They wouldn't have the benefit of a huge green space to be using. And in essence, permanently altering it, making it a very dangerous situation for anybody walking around there, and of course, that's damaging wildlife, people's environment of the area. So I'm curious as to why that is being used as such for a second time in now 2 calendar years, and if that can be kind of ended as a glorified construction site.
Thank you. Anyone else like to share their thoughts concerning council on anything? Please, yeah.
My name is Sean Garrett, I live at 15 Adams Street in Blackbird. My main concern is recently, like the house, it's the residency law for R1 zone like Adams Street is. And the house has sold recently next to ours, and people are buying houses from out of the area. And then they make it into a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house, and so they can rent legally to 3 or 4 different people, but you can't have apartment houses. You know, our street is very quiet and peaceful, and right now it's traveling nurses. But when the money's drying up, which it is slowly for the traveling nurse field, then it'll probably be all college students. And if everybody can just buy a house and then legally just rent it to 3, 4 different people, not related even. And to me, I'd like to see if they could possibly start looking into maybe the rezoning laws to see if this is something Plattsburgh, wants. So that's basically my word.
Thank you. Anyone else like to talk to council on anything? Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Hello, council.
Hello.
I'm here to speak to you today about the Creek Center. I am a local artist. Excuse me, I'm sorry, my apologies. My name is Matt Pagar. I'm 43 Durkee Street. I'm here to discuss today the Creek Center. The Creek Center. My apologies. I would like to remove some of the materials from the site for a personal art project. I do realize they will be discarded anyway. I did go to the site, it is marked off. I didn't want to cross the barrier, so I would like to ask permission to remove some materials, just small amount for the set. Just for a personal art project, if that is possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to the council on anything?
Jamie Gilbert, Ward 2, candidate. I wanted to thank Mike Kelly and Mr. Rosenquist for looking into the infestation of the properties on 36 Monty and the one on Johnson Avenue. That's on South South Fruit Street, and looking into the raccoon problems that was going on over there. I wanted to thank you for getting a hold of the inspectors of all parts of it. They're looking into it and getting the infestation probably addressed in the next month or 2, or when the bank decides to buy the house from the each resident in Ward 2. But thank you for addressing the concerns. I wanted to implore you on taking care of Ward 2. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak to the council on anything? Seeing none, we'll now go on to committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a counselor. I will now call upon that counselor, that chairperson of that committee, starting with the city operations counselor Chandler.
Well, our next meeting is going to be Monday, the 12th of June, and I guess right now, there's planning going on for the 4th of July parade. So if anybody is interested in signing up for the parade, you can do so online. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance, economic development, our meeting is next Thursday. City infrastructure counselor Kevin.
Our next meeting is next Monday, June 5th. The agenda is out for everyone to review.
Thanks, sir. Public safety counselor.
Our next meeting would have been scheduled for June 19th, but I'm guessing that that's going to be rescheduled
Probably the Tuesday.
the 20th. So we'll probably have that rescheduled to the 20th. Otherwise, the 2 resolutions we have on here tonight do relate to fire and public or police.
Thanks, counselor. Plattsburgh Public Library, Councilor Moore, please. Thank you. Plattsburgh Municipal Aid Department, Councilor Gibbs.
I don't have anything to report, but I think we have a meeting in the month.
Yes.
This month, end of June.
I think we have 5 Thursdays in June.
All right, then.
Okay, we'll confirm that. Thank you, Counselor Gibbs.
But other than that, I have nothing else.
Thank you. Climate Smart Task Force liaisons, Counselor Gibbs and or Counselor Town.
So we are wrapping up our food audits this week of City Hall and the Public Works Department. Our subcommittee is meeting next Wednesday, June 7th in the library smart room at 4 o'clock. At that time, we're going to assemble all the information from the food scraps that we've collected from the municipal buildings. And we'll be able to provide a comprehensive report for City Hall and wait for the council to see as well. And discuss what our next steps are going to be from there.
Thank you, Counselor Town.
I don't have anything to report today.
All right, Mr. Snow, any staff member reports?
No reports, but I do anticipate the need for a brief executive session at the end of tonight's meeting.
Thank you. There are no special committee reports. I will now report that the payrolls of the various city departments for the city of Plattsburgh are approved by the common council for the week ending May 24th, 2023 in the amount of. $5,041.65 and June 2nd, 2023 in the amount of $614,171.13. I'll now also report the bills audited by the common council for the week ending May 26th, 2023 in the amount of $3,700,204.82 and June 2nd, 2023 in the amount of $739,088.99. Before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that these resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate department heads and are now being presented to the council in large part due to the recommendations and the requests of those department heads. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.112, authorized budget adjustment revising the city police and fire retirement plan beginning in 2023.
Motion, Councilor Kelly, second by Councilor Bob, discussion,
This was in regards to switching to the county retirement system.
for those 3 articles, correct? Yes, I move that accurate. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Council Bond,
Yes.
Council Kelly,
Yes.
Council Gibbs,
Yes.
Council Talon.
Yes.
Council Bob,
Yes.
Council Moore,
Yes.
Carried. Oh, sorry, sorry, Mr. Allen. I'll also note that item 7.111 had been withdrawn from tonight's agenda. Sorry, please continue.
item 7.113, authorized travel request, police department.
Motion by Councilor Bob, second. Councilor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Council Bond,
Yes.
Council Kelly,
Yes.
Council Gibbs,
Yeah.
Council Talon, Council Bob,
Yes.
Council Moore,
Yes.
clear.
Carried. Thank you. There are no more items on tonight's agenda, but I will ask the council to vote on a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation involving a particular property. Motion by Councilor Bob, second by Councilor Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
We're now in executive session. I don't have any key to the. Hey, I don't know if I can take the credit. Same run, doesn't matter. Yeah, I have. It's barely a little bit here. I'll work with Julie and a whole picture of what's happening out there. It's a solid timeline.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about it, understandably, it's not lost on me. So we'll get some more information. to Councilor on
Yeah, that's a conversation that I had. I guess this whole year.
Yeah, you only need to run half of that. But much of half of that across the station. Yeah, I.
Yeah. Understand. Yeah, understand. And there's such.
Oh, it's, man, it's been like this. First.
There's some changes to the building inspectors.
I wouldn't say that, I would say the resignation. There's many. I didn't want to upset the mayor's office, and if he's under review. Actually, I missed a mistake. I don't want to. I don't want anything to rules and we. Yeah, I sent, I can send the text back to them, I didn't get it. Okay, I didn't get it, so the only thing I got was, Dixon just got finished. I sent it to Mike. And he said, I did, I said, I sent her, I sent it to him today for his proposal. Yeah, that's what I got, but I didn't get it. Sorry, I didn't get it. Sorry to the back, and I knew the on Friday.
It's not just so much.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got, that was the other side.
Is not being sold to the individual.
That's okay. I was busy.
Which.
It didn't, that's what I took on my phone service. I'm not, I did look at it and stuff, and I'm like, even. It's not involved technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I do talk, like that, I just don't want the upset that side of it more than it already rallied. But the focusing on the residents, let's say yesterday. It didn't look like you said anything to me more about transparency. This is the funny thing. I talked to Denise about it. She said, hey, you mentioned that petition. You may want to call the board. So I did. I bring it to their attention. I bring it to them that's transparent, but the experiment is that way. That taught me completely. Yeah, I've never seen that. I've been growing with politics for a long time, and I've never even seen that there. I just think that there's more that these guys, that you have a story. And this.
Yeah. The only problem with that.
He's angry. He wants to talk. It's funny because I go in there. Before I got there, this is. I think Sinise and lifestyle. Pretty much. Unit. So we want to see that. It'll be an extra respect. But it also be offset by that. Yeah, what do you think that's done? It'll just depend on the amount of. Because I know that the paper tags and Saturday and Sunday that are going on. And something like that, so. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't really a good start. But he does know about
want to put another one back here.
We're sure that we like.
This one was in my house, when you said you had, I don't, comfortable lines, I don't, we have to wear. I don't know.
Yeah.
It does. It's really cool. Well, it's early in the season, you know. James, we have a race range in the downstairs. It's not in the ground, it's still downstairs, so. He sits down there a lot of times to watch TV. And it's cool, so he'll, and everyone else just, oh, I'm like, this is cool up here, it's cool down there. Right next to my, some people like in the underground houses. Yeah. I like that, I like having windows that you can see out, I wouldn't want to be in the, have a race range too far in the ground. I know, it's like. It's too, not scenic at all, no, very dark, people live in caves. Yes. My sister like, they built their house, they started in the basement, lived in the basement for a long time until they built it. Now we should have to live. Yeah. No, so like, I need to see that sun. Well, we were a lot younger, you know, like our teenagers, like, oh, we can make a room down in our. Oh, yeah. Basement. And then you look at the basement, like, no, I mean. So too creepy. Yeah, yeah. Do you have to hang out in one too, huh? Yes. But we can't adjourn. Oh, that's right. Oh, Howard gets some interesting guests into the studio occasionally. What do you get? Oh, somebody brought him in for like a wildlife thing? Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love owls, but I guess they're not very nice. Yeah. It was, yeah. They're beautiful. Yeah, well, the guy who brought this in said it's one of the largest owl species. Oh, goodness. It was like, yeah, I mean, look at the size of them. Oh, it's huge. Yeah. The guy is like 6'5" or something, and this owl is like making him look tiny. Yeah. We could swore Sully that there was an owl in one of the trees over here. It just looked like an owl out there, but we couldn't get, like, we used our phones and tried to, like, you know, make it blow it out, but we could never really get it, just the shape was like that. I always hear like, you know, who's in the neighborhood, and it's like, where? I know, I want to see this. Oh, well. But yeah, no, the day that Tom had the guy, and he brought the owl in, and it was like everybody in the building came by. Yeah. And the owls were like, get away from me. Yeah. I asked Tom if it actually made any kind of hooting noise, because they kept it in the studio while they did the interview, and I said, did it make like any owl sound? He's like, it hissed. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. That's what I've heard, that they're not very nice. You don't want them. And this thing had claws that were still bigger than my hand. Yeah, it's like. Yeah, well, because I always said that I read that about because I had a little dog, she passed away, but she was only 6 pounds. And I'm like, I heard about hawks, you need to watch out for hawks and owls. Yeah. Hawks, yeah. And raccoons and everything else, because she's. So we never, well, we always brought her out, we never let her out by herself. Because she's just. I have a 25-pound cat, I don't know. According to Channel 3, apparently today was the last day of the ski season at Killington. I think so. I did see some people on new skiing the other day on Memorial Day.
High hearts.
Yeah.
I know.
It's not overly bad, just a little stale. It's not.
If you're planning to. Like, we just.
All right, folks, motion to come out of the executive session. Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Kelly, all in favor? We're out, no action was taken during executive session, I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Well, I just one piece of.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry, any new business?
I've been approached by somebody from Harvard. Our trail with Terry Gordon. White Path, I think it is.
Harbor View, is that like a development on that end?
That's the
The
one
condos.
where the officers' club is.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
So anyway, these people were complaining and they have an agreement with us that we would maintain that property. It turned out a few years ago that they own part of the walkway that it first goes in. And anyway, there's a little oval. We've been using that for bringing trucks down there. It's just it goes around the planting.
okay,
Anyway, it's very narrow, the park, it's tarmac,
okay.
and we've been bringing our trucks down there.
What truck, just DPW truck?
Yeah, well,
Okay,
I'm assuming to pick up garbage or
okay,
work down, whatever. But anyway, it's not wide enough for a vehicle, so what happens, two of the wheels are off the tarmac and it's starting to, it's a drop off.
sir,
And now it's creating a rut that somebody could, if it was damp or something, could slide into the
Okay.
corner. Their agreement that they have, again, a copy, your dean has a copy.
okay,
But anyway, we agreed that we would maintain that spot.
okay,
And that we would take on any liability if somebody slipped off there,
gotcha,
truck slipped in the ditch, whatever.
So they were just wondering if we couldn't do something to shore up that
Yeah,
area.
we'll figure that out.
Yeah, so-
Like, do you know what you're referring to?
Yeah,
And the location?
there was a slight encroachment of the pad on their private property, so like 7 or 8 years ago, we entered into an easement agreement
Yeah.
to give that public access with that little strip, little triangle.
Can't quite, in my head, I can't quite visualize, but
Well, I didn't either. I had to walk down there and see
Oh,
what
okay.
they were talking about, and then it's like, oh, I get it now. It's eroding the soil, so. Now it's getting more and more of a drop off. Where somebody on my school, anybody could hurt themselves, and they don't want to be
yeah, of course.
involved in any kind of lawsuit. We did say we would take it.
Okay. Yeah, let me take a look at it, into it, and, Mike's on vacation right now, so I'll certainly get you guys an update, sometime next week.
Very good.
Okay, any other news?
Yes, I have something. I'm getting some phone calls, complaints about updated assessments in the city. Um. It looks like 10, on my house went up 20%. So I was wondering if we could ask Tim Trubisky to come here and explain why such a huge jump.
Okay.
10%, 20%, that's pretty sizable. I pulled out all my assessments, but since I own my home.
Yep.
Never has my assessment jumped like this, and I'm not the only one. I'm getting
Mine
complaints
too,
from residents.
mine too, yep.
So I think, it would be incredibly useful if Mr. Spinski could come and explain why, you know, why not 1 or 2, but why 10 or 20?
Sure.
Yeah,
Either next week during the finance meeting,
I'll ask him when he's free, and we'll make sure that he's scheduled when everybody's here.
that would be good.
Well, one thing I wanted to also point out was with this, what the assessment people have done is created a lot of inequities. In other words, some people did go up hardly at all or not at all. Other people went up hugely. And a raised assessment does not make you more affluent. It actually makes you less affluent because your taxes went up.
Yeah, I just read an article.
I know that's really not a good way of taxation, and it isn't done fairly, and I know at least one of the reassessments, they didn't do any commercial property. Well, that means the guy paying commercial property gets a huge tax rate, people who own their homes get a big tax boost. It's not being distributed, I think, fairly, and the other thing is the housing market has really changed. There's not much, there's no supply, nobody's getting out of their house because mortgage rates are 7% now. So why would I get out of my house that's paid for, or that I'm still paying on with a 3 or 4% loan and sell that and make a profit and then move into something that's more expensive? Just doesn't make any sense. It's a poor way of taxing people, and some people are really been hit on it. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I'm getting.
It's created inequity in our system, our taxing system.
I read a great article this week about, what's the term, house poor. You have a house and a mortgage, but you're broke because of the escrow and everything else. So, the other question I had, and I was hoping that he could answer this as well. I did not realize that our commercial properties have been reassessed. So I'd like to know some explanation on all of them, how much, what was, and I'd like to know in general, what was the decision-making factor in, you know, what led his decision to do 10% or 20% seemingly across the county. So I was hoping we could have him here to explain that.
All right, thank you. Any other new business? Yes.
Yeah, just wanted to make a mention that today is the first day of Pride Month, and some downtown businesses are participating, they've got their windows decorated, so I'd like to thank them for their participation. There's also going to be an outdoor movie at Melissa Penfield Park this weekend. I'm gonna be showing the stand, but I think it's at 6:30, and that's gonna be a very fun event, so I wanna say thank you to the friends of Melissa Penfield Park for doing that.
Okay, thank you. New business? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Pot, all in favor? Very good. Thank you. Thank you.